Middletown. They were eventually allowed to play. They got 6 games in. The Middies were supposed to play one more against their rival Hamilton Friday, but now it is off. Superintendent Marlon Stiles said today they notified all football families of this situation. Stiles saying, quote, "The safety of our community is always our priority. All JV and varsity football workouts and competitions will be canceled for the remainder of the season so the health department can conduct contact tracing and the exposed facilities can be thoroughly cleaned and disinfected." Stiles also said exposed coaches and students are encouraged to get tests and report results to Middletown High School. Hospitals across Greater Cincinnati preparing for a possible second wave of COVID-19.
So there is a close eye right now on cases and hospitalizations, but officials say right now they aren't alarmed when it comes to ICU beds. WLWT News 5's Dan Griffin live for us tonight at UC Medical Center, where leaders of the Health Collaborative telling us they're prepared for what's to come, right, Dan?
That's right, Mike and Shereen. It's good to have you both back here. I'm told by officials there are a number of factors under close watch to make sure hospitals don't get overwhelmed.
Even if the numbers were what they were in the spring, it's a much more dangerous time right now.
It's a stark warning from Craig Brammer, the CEO of the Health Collaborative in Cincinnati. He says as cold weather sends more people inside, students go to class, and holidays reunite families, COVID-19 infection rates are sure to rise. Brammer adds flu is coming too.
So if we have more infections, there will absolutely be more hospitalizations, and some proportion of those will end up in the ICU, and some proportion of those will pass away.
The Health Collaborative's latest data shows nearly 200 COVID-19 patients hospitalized in Greater Cincinnati, with fewer than 50 in the ICU.
80%, a little over 80% is a region in critical care bed use right now. Obviously, a lot of those are patients that aren't there for COVID, the vast majority.
The most recent data from the Ohio Department of Health shows statewide 303 COVID patients in the ICU, while 2,761 non-COVID patients are in the ICU. 1,429 ICU beds are available. Brammer says these numbers are not alarming. He says healthcare systems are prepared. He tells us the systems turn to load balancing, making sure one hospital isn't overwhelmed. Brammer says staff is reassigned and medical supplies get extra attention. He adds masks, social distancing, and good hygiene are a must for everyone.
We've got about 2 weeks as a community to get our arms around this and get it under control.
So Brammer also says that officials could reopen alternative sites like the Duke Energy Convention Center even quicker than they did the first time. But the concern this time around would be staffing and making sure they make the most of the resources that they have. I'm told the Health Collaborative is also set to meet tomorrow to talk about surging in the event we see a surge in cases. We're live at UC Medical Center. Dan Griffin, WLWT News 5.
Dan, thank you. Brammer also telling us tonight each health system has had about 8 months to fine-tune its playbook in the event of a surge in cases. He says that data is used daily to calculate a number of measures, including ICU bed availability and surge bed availability as well. The key whistleblower in the fugitive doctor case is now suing Cincinnati Children's Hospital and some of its doctors. Dr. Charles Melman, an orthopedic spine surgeon at Children's, testified against Dr. Atiq Durrani, who's accused of performing unnecessary spine surgeries. After Dr. Melman's testimony, Children's settled out of court. Well, now, Dr. Melman claims since his testimony, he's been retaliated against by the hospital and by some of the doctors.
A former youth football coach in Warren County has been indicted for sex crimes against children. Eric Schmidt of Mason is charged with rape, 2 counts of gross sexual imposition, and 2 counts of public indecency. According to this indictment, Schmidt had sexual conduct and contact with 2 kids under the age of 13, once in 2015 and again in 2019. Last year, Schmidt was an assistant coach for the Kings youth football program. Authorities say the victims are not connected to the program. And by the way, Kings youth football is not associated with the Kings School District.
Here we go again. The presidential campaign trail making another stop in Ohio this week.
You know that's got to happen. The Trump campaign planning a rally in Cincinnati. Joe Biden's running mate Kamala Harris back on the campaign trail after a coronavirus scare.
Plus, coronavirus conflict, why President Trump is calling America's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Fauci, a disaster.
Plus, a wet and gloomy Monday comes to an end. That's the good part, but will the rain be back?
Yeah, so I think everybody wondering, Kevin, are we looking any drier later this week?
Later this week, but here in the short term, not so much. It's raining again outside, and we're adding to over the inch totals we've already seen. So coming up, I'll have the very latest check on the radar. I'll let you know if it sticks around maybe for your Tuesday morning commute. A full look at your forecast is on the other side of the break. You're watching Cincinnati's WLWT News 5.
You're watching WLWT News 5, leading the way.
Well, you can count on this every 4 years, the road to the White House making another pit stop in our area this week.
Yeah, so tonight we know Vice President Mike Pence is returning here to Cincinnati. The Trump campaign just announcing Vice President Pence will host a Make America Great Again event at Lunken Field this Wednesday. Gates open at 4 o'clock for general admission, with the rally starting at 6. The campaign says everyone attending will have their temperature checked, be given a mask to wear, and have access to hand sanitizer.
Well, the relationship between President Trump and America's top infectious disease expert, Dr. Anthony Fauci, appears to be a bit rocky these days. During a call with his campaign staff from Las Vegas, the president said that people are tired of listening to Dr. Fauci's warnings about the coronavirus pandemic. The president called Dr. Fauci's COVID-19 updates a, quote, disaster, saying if we listen to him, we'd have 500,000 deaths. The president said this to reporters when asked about his comments on the phone call while campaigning in Arizona today.
Sometimes he says things that are a little bit off and they get built up, unfortunately, but he's a nice guy. I like him, but he's called a lot of bad calls. He said, don't wear a mask, and he said, don't ban China. There were bad calls. He admits that, and I don't hold that against him. If I did, I wouldn't have him. No, I think he's a nice guy. Huh? I don't want to. I don't want to hurt him. He's been there for about 350 years. I don't want to hurt him.
Dr. Fauci says this is a disturbingly anti-science moment in history. He says now more than ever, healthcare providers need to stick to their principles.
The Biden campaign was back on the road without the former vice president. His running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, held a drive-in rally here in Florida. This was her first time on the campaign trail since suspending travel for several days after a staffer tested positive for the coronavirus last week. Biden will stay at home in Delaware for the next several days before Thursday's scheduled debate.
Well, more than 28 million people have cast ballots across the country. The massive turnout shattering records.
Yeah, and as WLWT News 5's Stephen Albritton tells us tonight, millions more will vote before Election Day. Stephen?
Yeah, just a couple weeks left. Tomorrow actually marks the 2-week mark until that general election. Early voting has been underway here locally, and today it officially started in Florida, an important swing state for both presidential candidates. Before the sun rose in the Sunshine State, people stood in line to vote.
I'll make sure that my vote gets counted. I'm putting it here, and I want to get done early.
Today, early voting started in 52 of Florida's 67 counties.
I've been waiting for a long time to cast my vote, and I think it's about time America stood up and said what they wanted to say.
Long lines snaked around polling places.
I support President Trump.
This is my son, and he is also voting for Biden.
In the crucial swing state, more than 2.4 million ballots have already been mailed in. 30% come from registered Republicans and 49% from registered Democrats. The other 20% do not have any party affiliation. Some voters would rather cast ballots in person.
I didn't trust the process, which I've done it before. For this election, I just figured it's the president. Let me just go in person.
It's not just Florida. Voting enthusiasm has spread across the country and is setting records, including in Ohio. The state has seen record-breaking early voting numbers.
I felt it was my civic duty to make sure my vote was counted by coming early, so if the election process was disrupted, I had several opportunities to vote.
Combining Hamilton, Butler, Warren, and Claremont counties, nearly 65,000 people have already voted in person, and 172,754 mail-in ballots have been returned so far. If you plan to vote early, your wait time could vary. Today, we heard from voters who waited as little as 10 minutes start to finish, but others saying they've waited 30 times during peak hours. Stephen Albritton, WLWT News 5.
All right, Stephen, thank you. As Election Day approaches, you've heard of exit polls and straw polls and phone polls, but if you really want to know who's going to win, you need the results, of course, of the Buskin Cookie Poll. That's right. Starting in 1984, Cincinnati's very own Buskin Bakery started its presidential cookie poll, and in 9 straight elections now, the highest selling cookie of the candidates from the 2 major parties has accurately predicted the winner of the election. Buskin, by the way, has 3 bakeries here in the area. Not sure where the smiley face cookie fits in. Maybe more smiles in 2021. It's got to be more.
Is that if you're undecided, you just get the smiley face cookie?
You get the smiley face. You know, it's been a while. It's been, I believe, 25 days since we sat on this anchor desk together. We missed our family here, WLWT and Kevin Robinson. It's good to finally be back.
It is good to be back. Yeah. So coming back to lots of rain today, you definitely needed an umbrella when you were out and about. Looks like we could need one tomorrow.
Yeah, especially early in the day, I think you'll need that umbrella. In the afternoon, not so much. But in the morning, yes. Afternoon, no. So that's, I think, how your Tuesday kind of plays out around the area. So here we are tonight. We've got the waves of rainfall moving back in already, a little bit faster than expected. But hey, we thought we'd have a wetter evening towards the end, and especially here into the overnight hours. So there you go. There's kind of that first area of showers, mostly light to occasionally a pocket of moderate rain you'll find out there between Fayetteville and Newtonsville, Owensville, out towards Goshen and Stone Lick, also there towards Morrow. But overall, mostly light rainfall around the area at the moment. Same story as you head out through parts of Clinton and Highland counties, northern parts of Brown County, and then to the south of the Ohio River, a little bit of a lull at the moment, but in actuality, I think it's in our southern communities, areas near and south of the 71-75 split, where the heaviest rain will actually fall overnight tonight. I'll show it to you here in just a moment. But so far, officially, since midnight last night, over 1 1/3 inches at the airport. That seems to be the magic number. Those totals still climbing there around Wilmington, too. So a good number of you picking up beneficial rainfall. So the threat for rain remains high through the overnight hours. It's lower Tuesday and Wednesday. Not to say there won't be rain these days. I just think given the coverage and the timing, it will probably be less impactful to the area. But that said, there's still likely to be some rain both days. Thursday is the only day that looks completely dry. So here's what's happening tonight. We've got a front draped across the Ohio Valley. This is the next wave of rain. But if you look closely here between Evansville and Louisville, there's some heavier pockets of rain, and that's likely to scoot its way up across parts of northern Kentucky. So watch Futurecast here. This not doing the best of jobs because it's already got a little bit too much rain on it there. But however, I do think that through the overnight hours in the morning, folks near and south of the Ohio River stand the best chance of seeing the heaviest rain, and then to the south and east of Cincinnati. That rain begins to taper off tomorrow morning. While there could be a shower that lingers somewhere throughout the afternoon, overall it looks drier tomorrow afternoon, looks drier during the evening, and then overnight Tuesday into Wednesday morning, folks west of Interstate 75, watch what happens, likely to see rain fill back in to an extent. So that's why we keep the thread in there Tuesday as well as into Wednesday. So if you got outdoor plans here, I'm going with fair Tuesday and Wednesday. Thursday looks good. Friday is poor because I think by Friday evening, another significant round of rain moves in. So now that we've got some steadier pockets of rain moving through, we're starting to kind of see some of that fog mix out some. Visibilities have been up and down throughout the evening. We're officially at 53 degrees right now, a little bit of a north wind out there. Temperatures around the area range from 60 to our south, 50s along the 71 and 75 corridors, and then upper 40s back across parts of southeast Indiana. So over the next 12 hours, temperatures will generally hover there, give or take a couple of degrees on either side of 50 through a gloomy night and gloomy morning. So more rain obviously through the night, along with some areas of fog, about 49. Tomorrow, morning showers, cloudy, milder, 65. Again, the weather should be most impactful to the first part of your day before it begins to dry out. Here's your 7-day forecast. More sunshine as we head into Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures through the 70s and then 80. Friday starts nice and warm until the rain moves in Friday night with some slightly cooler weather on tap for the weekend.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Frustration building. What Ben